Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and it is a beautiful morning. Today I am going to go through my entire PlayStation Portable collection. These are the remaining few games out of my PSP collection. I had a much larger collection before, but when I did a big sell-off, when I sold off a big chunk of my collection, I sold off about a little more than half of my PSP collection. So this is what's left. And as I sit here today, like, I wish I would have sold more of my PS4 and Switch collection earlier and kept more of my retro stuff. I kind of regret anything that I sold that was older than like the PS3 era. So I'm working to get some of that stuff back, actually. So I may wind up selling some more PS4 and some more Switch stuff, but that is going to be figured out in the future. For now, I am going to take you through what's left in my PSP collection. A few folks have asked for that, so I want to do that for the subscribers and for those who have asked. But before I dive into that, I have to shout out the Los Angeles Lakers, man, avoiding a sweep. I mean, one win does not mean they're going to come back and win the series, but it's encouraging to know that the Lakers were able to break the 11-game losing streak to the Denver Nuggets. It's crazy to think about how many minutes they've actually led the series in scoring, yet they still lost 3 games. So on top of that, it looks like Jamal Murray might have tweaked something in game 4. I don't know how bad that is, but I could easily see that becoming an excuse. If the Lakers do happen to come back, and this is an extremely long shot, but if they do happen to come back from being down 3-0, I could easily see Denver blaming it on Jamal Murray having a nagging injury because he hasn't really shot it well. He hasn't really been performing well in the series. And then last night with him grabbing his calf, we don't know, what's going on with that. And they really need Jamal Murray to be Jamal Murray in order to win. Like, if one piece of that Denver Nuggets team goes down, it's pretty much a wrap. And that's the difference between Denver and the Lakers. I feel like if the Lakers lose a particular player, they always have a fighting chance. With Denver, it's a little different. But enough basketball. You all came to see the PSP collection on this Sunday morning. So let me just start off with the PSP console that I have. So I actually have the PSP 3000. This is the one that I actually kept in my collection. I had all 3 versions, the 1000, the 2000, and the 3000. The 1000, I liked the weight of the 1000, the heaviness, the girth, but I wasn't a huge fan of the screen. The 3000 is cool. Great battery life. It works well. It displays well. And this is the one that I kept. But like I said, at one point I had all 3 of these consoles. In fact, I had 2 complete in box PSPs, and I sold one. I still have the box. So I still have a complete in box PSP. You see the box down there. But this is the only thing you can play your PSP games on. So this is what I use when I'm playing my PlayStation Portable games. And now we'll get into the collection. So the first one up is this cool RPG. This is Crimson Gem Saga. A really cool RPG. I remember doing a lot of research on this game, and when I got it, I never opened it. By the way, a lot of my PSP games are sealed. I've played about half of my collection, so I haven't played all of my PSP games. I'll say that right out the gate because I know I'll get comments on that. And a lot of the games that I picked up based on footage that I saw when I was researching the game. So I would look to see if it was RPG, hack and slasher, and if it looked cool enough, I got it. So Crimson Gem Saga was one of the RPGs that I picked up. It's an Atlas RPG, and that's the genre that I think really dominates the PSP, is really RPGs. So this is one that I got and added to the collection, Crimson Gem Saga. Bounty Hounds is a little bit different. This one is also a sealed game, but this one is a bit more of like a hack and slash style game. So this one is definitely more action based, kind of open world hack and slash. That's definitely what I'm about. This is more like in line with the types of games that I like to play. So Bounty Hounds was a pretty cool pickup that I was excited to get and add to the collection. Bounty Hounds on the PSP, I would definitely check that one out. Crimson Gem Saga is probably worth more, but Bounty Hounds, if you like action, that's a fun one. Then we have Ys 7. I'm a fan of the Ys series. I remember when Ys Origins came to the Switch, I was playing that a lot. I got pretty far in that game and then I just stopped. I don't know why, but this is a very cool action RPG. So Ys incorporates a lot of the things that I like about like open world action games, but it still has that RPG factor to it. And this is where the open world starts to get a little bit more expansive, and I really like it. I like the way this game plays. So got Ys 7 on the PSP, a great way to experience the Ys franchise. That one's a little bit more pricey, if my memory serves me correctly. Then I have a sealed copy of Gladiator Begins. This is another hack and slasher on the PSP, as you can see there, arena style. And a lot of these games are pretty mature, a lot of violence, a lot of blood, but the PSP was definitely a more mature handheld, more so than like the DS or the 3DS. So we have Gladiator there. Then we've got one of my favorite fighting series, Darkstalkers Chronicles. This is really cool because a lot of the fighting games that came out on the PSP, you got a bunch of you basically got a lot of the games in the series. So with this one, I think you get Darkstalkers 1, 2, and 3, or maybe it's just 1 and 2. I know you get a few of the Darkstalker series, but I think it's all 3 of the Darkstalkers games. So different modes, arcades. Obviously, you can jump on the network. The PSP network is like not available. I remember when I got when I bought a PSP about 3 or 4 years ago, I tried actually getting on the network. I connected it. I tried getting connected to the Wi-Fi. I had a hard time doing that. Then tried getting on the network to see if anyone was on there, and I didn't have much luck. But Darkstalkers is a really cool one. Glad to have this one in the collection. I kept that. I almost sold that like 3 times, but I'm glad I kept it. Star Ocean Second Evolution. I played this game for like about a second and then stopped. This is one of the RPGs that I considered selling out of the collection, but because, you know, the Star Ocean series, it's like really popular, but you know, they're just hard for me to get into because I know they're going to take so much time. But I think I didn't want to sell this one because of how much it was. I didn't want to have to pay a ton of money to get it back because I think this Star Ocean, for some reason, is a little bit more pricier on the PSP. That could have changed. I haven't looked at PSP values in a really long time, so I don't know what this goes for now, but I still have that one in the collection. Then we have another hack and slasher that I have not opened yet. This one plays, and I'm going to try to say this, Hakuoki. This one plays kind of like a Dynasty Warriors from the footage that I've seen. Haven't opened this one up yet or played it, but for those of you who follow the channel, you know that I'm into that whole hack and slash style. So went ahead and got this a long time ago. Still have it in the collection. Almost sold this one as well a few times, but kept it in the collection. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Impact. This is a game that I've had in my collection for quite some time. There was a time where this was like touching $100 for this game. I don't know if the price has gone down, gone up. Probably has gone down because I feel like PSP prices in general have gone down, but I kept this one sealed. Haven't had a chance to open this one up. The Naruto games are real tricky. I've never been a fan of, I've never like really watched the series. Like a lot of people watch the cartoon. I've heard a lot of good things about the cartoon series. I just never really got into the cartoon. I think around the time Naruto came out, I was past, you know, that phase of watching anime. And I never, like, I like anime. Don't get me wrong. I love anime. I think anime is great. I've just never really gotten the chance to get too deep into anime cartoons outside of like Dragon Ball Z, One Punch Man, and that's about it. I know there's a ton of anime movies out there that I'm just like not doing myself an injustice by not watching them. One of the ones that my friends have always told me about is Full Metal Alchemist, that I need to watch that. Ghost in a Shell, I still have never fully watched that, so maybe one day I'll sit down and kind of get into those. I think I'm in for a treat with some of those. But yeah, Naruto, have that sealed. Then you have Metal Slug Double X. This is just a really, this like epitomizes the type of game that I'm into. This run and gun, shoot 'em up style. Metal Slug is like the godfather of that genre. And you get a bunch of games in here. I really dig this series. I've never had a chance to play it on my PSP because I've had this on the Vita as well. So I played this on the Vita. Um, but it's Metal Slug, man. What more can I say? I mean, this is the animated, over the top, super funny version of Contra. With more characters that you can play, and Tarma has always been my favorite character. I always play as Tarma from the arcade days. Then you have Lunar, Silver Star Harmony. I have played some of this RPG. This is a turn-based RPG, if I'm not mistaken. And I really like this one because of the graphics. I love the art style in this Star Ocean. Sorry, did I say Star Ocean? Lunar, rather. In this Lunar game. Played it a little bit, not a ton. This is another one that I kept in the collection just because I felt like getting it back would be very difficult. Games like these, they like the Lunar games, like some of these games just shoot up for no reason at some point. You think they're like the price is stable, and then you look up one day and it's like $130. So I kept this one in the collection. Then you have Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles. So this one is actually pretty cool. If I'm not mistaken, this one plays like Rondo of Blood, but then I think you have to beat it. Once you beat it, then it opens up Symphony of the Night. So if you don't feel like paying the crazy price to get Symphony of the Night on your PlayStation 1, and you have a PSP, you can experience Castlevania Symphony of the Night on the PSP via the Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles. And then, of course, you can play the Rondo of Blood. If I'm not mistaken, this isn't like the traditional Rondo of Blood. This is more of like a 3D version of the Rondo of Blood game. So it's a little bit of a twist on it. I've played this a bunch, but at the time that I initially got this, I was already playing through Symphony of the Night on the PS1. But still a great game on the PSP. I mean, if you're looking to add quality games to your PlayStation portable collection, Castlevania is one. And this one isn't really expensive. Actually, I don't think this one is too crazy expensive. This one should be like around $35 or so. If the prices have changed, let me know. Like I said, it's been a while. I have not looked up any of these prices, so I could be totally wrong. You guys let me know. Prinny. Always been a fan of the Prinny series. I tried playing this on the Switch, and it just didn't make sense because it felt like a literal port. Like they didn't change anything about the way the game plays on the PSP to the way it plays on the Switch. Everything about it, when you buy this game on the Switch, is exactly the same. And so for that, I'm just going to play it on the PSP. It just feels more natural there. But this is a very fun platforming game. My only issue with the Prinny game is that your jumps are committed. So you better know which direction you're going when you jump, because you cannot change directions in the air. Kind of like Dracula X Chronicles, Castlevania Dracula X. And that's just tough, because if you mistime your jump, it's over for you. But I'm a huge fan of the Prinny series. I like the Prinny games. In fact, I have a Prinny Lego that I need to put together. I've been saying that I'm going to put this together for a while now. Just time hasn't allowed me to, but I will be putting this Prinny game, Prinny Lego, together there. All right, another cool one, The Warriors. So this is a cool beat 'em up style game from Rockstar. This plays like Bully or Grand Theft Auto because it was made by Rockstar. So it has that kind of feel, more of like a darker vibe, a darker tone. Basically a game that's the theme of it is basically like the gangs of New York back in the 80s and stuff. So pretty cool game. This one was pretty expensive on the PlayStation 2 at one point, and it was cheaper to get on the PSP. So I got it on the PSP, but then oddly enough, I wound up running into it at a retro game store and wound up getting it on the PS2 anyway. So, but cool game, cool beat 'em up if you like that. Really quality game. Hexy's Force. Now, this is a game that I have sealed, but unfortunately the seal has been broken. Now, this is probably the most expensive game that I have on the PSP. I don't know how much this game goes for now, but I know at one point this game was going for over $200. I don't know if it was because it was rare or just a very fun game. I haven't had a chance to break this one open and play it yet, but it looks like it's two epic RPGs in one, as you can read right there. Haven't had a chance to play this one yet, but like I said, I think this one is probably the most expensive RPG in my collection. So if anyone knows anything about this RPG, leave a comment down below. This was one of the ones that I just never got a chance to get to. And again, when I was selling off my PSP collection, I kept this one because I was like, I'm not paying $200 to get this game back in the collection. So kept that one. Another cool one now, Steam Bot Chronicles Battle Tournament. So when I saw the footage of this game before I bought it, and this one is sealed, so I haven't played this one yet either. But when I saw the footage of this game reminded me of Misadventures of Trombone. So, and I like the way the footage, I like the way that game plays. I actually have Adventures of Trombone on my PS Vita. I had downloaded it from the PlayStation Store while it was still available. It might still be available, I'm not sure, but I do have it on my Vita. So I got this one. I know it has more of like an RPG feel to it, or more RPG elements to it, but added this one on my PSP because it was so daggone expensive on the PS2. This game was going, another one that was going for over $200 on the PlayStation 2, and this one I think was going for over $150 on the PSP. Don't know where it's at now. Might be a $50 game now. I don't know. But this was one that I added to the collection. Still sealed, haven't opened it yet. Still crispy too. That seal is good. Some of these games that I have, the seals have gotten all torn to shreds between me moving them around and putting them in boxes and taking them out. But this one still has a really good seal on it. Should I get it graded? I'm joking. I'm not doing that grading nonsense. Okay, Valkyrie Profile. This is one that I have played as well. So I have played a little bit of this one. I do like the art style on this one as well. It's just the RPGs, they're hard for me to sit down and play through. I just don't have the time to dedicate. Like, I'm still playing through Chrono Trigger. I haven't really picked it up since starting the renovation on the bathroom, which is done. So glad. So glad about that. Finally got that out the way. You know, sometimes you have to make choices. Either take a trip to the Bahamas or renovate your bathroom, right? Get choices. Anyway, Valkyrie Profile. Really cool RPG. Played a little bit of this one. With these games, it's all about the story. So whenever I pop in an RPG, I'm really more interested in like watching the story unfold, playing through the story, because that's, I think, what makes these games so incredible. I don't remember what this one was about, to be honest with you. It's been a long time since I picked this one up and played it, but I did have it in my rotation at one point. But that is in the collection. And then last but not least, Guitar-Ru Man Lives. So I was actually looking for Guitar-Ru Man on the PS2, but again, this is another one of those games that was just redonkulously expensive. At the time that I was like picking up PS2 games, this game on the PS2 was another really expensive one. I think it was like over 150, maybe touching 200. It was like really expensive. And I just didn't want to pay that price, but it was cheaper on the PSP, which would allow me to at least experience the game, see what it was about, get my feels on. And if I thought it was that compelling, then yeah, you know, I could probably get it on the PS2. Play this a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I think this just kind of falls in the line of those weird music games like Parappa the Rapper or Samba de Amigo. We find, you know, we have these like little musical games that we have between the PSP, PlayStation, Dreamcast that are just really cool and quirky. This one, just for whatever reason, is pretty expensive. I think this one still might be between 30 and 50 bucks on the PSP. Not sure. Let me know down in the comments, but this is another one in the collection. Moving right along, we have the dual pack here. Now, you have Mega Man Powered Up, which I believe is, I can't remember which version of Mega Man that is, but it is like a 3D version. I had these games separately. Like I had Mega Man, and then I had the Maverick Hunter X, and then I just kind of sold both of the separate games and kept the dual pack because at the time it was sealed. But again, I've had these games for a while. So in the process of moving these games around, the seal was broken. I kept this one sealed because I had already played both, but maybe I'll crack this open. There are 2 discs in here, so both games are in here, just in one case. I thought it was a pretty cool way to keep it. And then you have Mega Man Maverick Hunter. And so this is basically the first Mega Man X, but just in like a 2.5D format. Some pretty cool games here. Like a 2.5D Mega Man X is fun. Mega Man X, like the original, was one of my favorite games back in the day. I remember playing that a ton in high school. And have it on the PSP is pretty cool. You know, I always told myself if the PlayStation Portable was the only system I had left, at least I would have a good stack of games to play through. Next up, we have Phantasy Star Portable. So I'm kind of a fan of the Phantasy Star series just for the open world aspect of it. I know the main draw with a lot of those games was, you know, getting connected to the network and playing with people online. But just even without those aspects, I thought it was just a colorful, cool looking game. And so I had gotten Phantasy Star 2 Portable on the PSP a while back, kept it in the collection when I was selling things off. You know, Sega does a good job with these types of games, so kept that one in there. And then next up, we have another hack and slasher. This one was one that I picked up based off of footage as well. Kept it sealed. This one is still sealed. Has a little nick right there, but it's all good. Undead Knights. So this is a very unique and interesting hack and slash style game. Plays like Dynasty Warriors with that whole hack and slash feel. You're kind of just hacking and slashing your way through hordes of zombies. Have a bloody good time. It is rated M for mature because of all the blood and guts, but it is a good one to have. Really like this one. I like the footage of this one. Just haven't had a chance to dive into it, but will eventually. Undead Knights on the PSP. Next up, another sealed one. So Eves, The Oath of Felghana. So I want to say that there is a version of this game on the PlayStation 2. I could be wrong, but I remember when I picked this game up, when doing my research, I think they had mentioned that either it's like the PSP version of the Ark of Nepishtim. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not, or maybe this is just a different game in the series altogether. But like I said, I'm a fan of these games. I even have these games on the Switch. But once I picked up Ark of Nepishtim, because I got that around the same time that I got Oath of Felghana, I was just playing through Ark of Nepishtim, and I was like, you know what, I'll get to this once I finish that one. Obviously, haven't gotten to this one yet. This copy is still sealed. I don't see any nicks on this one, so the seal on this one is actually in pretty good condition as well. So it's an ease game, man. I really like these. Ease games are basically hack and slash, like action RPG style games. Not really hack and slash because you use more magic in this one, but pretty cool. Pretty cool game, pretty cool series. This too was pretty expensive at one point. I know this was going for like 120 or so at one time. Don't know what it's going for now. Don't know what any of these games go for, but that one is a cool one. We got another sealed guy, Phantasy Star Portable. So this is part 1. I just showed you part 2. Here is part 1. Another Phantasy Star game. This one is like super sealed. Haven't touched this one at all. Haven't had a chance to dive into this one. I remember when I was collecting for the PSP heavy, I was just getting these games sealed. At the time, they were just easy to get. This is years ago. These were just easy to get, easy to pick up. They weren't as expensive as they are probably now. Some cool ones. Extremely hard. This game made me almost break one of my PSPs. It's such a hard game. I mean, the whole Ghouls and Ghosts series is like hard anyway, but the PSP version is just hard for no reason. Like Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins is redonkulously hard. If you want to frustrate yourself, go ahead and pick this game up and play it. But this is a cool one. I mean, if you have a PSP, you got to have this in your collection, and it's not really that expensive at all. I know at one point it was like 50 or 60 bucks, but it's probably dropped down now. So if you have a PSP, pick this one up. If you're a fan of the Ghouls and Ghosts series, that is a good one. Prinny 2, not going to take a ton of time. You all know how I feel about Prinny 2 or the Prinny series. Played it, love it. Action platformer, a really good game. Recommend you check that one out if you're into action platforming. We got some action for you here. Chili Con Carnage. This is a game that was in my rotation for a while. This game is like Grand Theft Auto meets Max Payne meets, I don't know. Like, this is kind of like I don't want to say open world because it's a 3D shoot 'em up style, beat 'em up style game. It has the Max Payne element where you can like slow things down, and like I love the fact that you can kind of like time warp things and like, you know, blast your enemies from a distance. There's a ton of weapons in here. You can steal cars, you can steal tanks. This is just a blast of action. Like if you want to get your action-packed blast of fun, Chili Con Carnage is a really fun game. I like it. I think you'll like it if you like action. Like I said, if you like GTA, Max Payne, you will like this one. This is a fun one. Chili Con Carnage. Next up, gotta have a shoot 'em up. Gotta have at least one shoot 'em up in on every platform, and here is mine, the Gradius collection. This is just a bunch of Gradius games that you can check out. Got them all listed here: the original Gradius, Gradius 2, Gradius 3, Gradius 4, Gradius Gaiden. So some really cool action here. There's a lot of value packed on one PSP disc. A ton of value here. So if you're a fan of the Gradius series, definitely check this one out. This was one that I needed to have in the collection just because, like I said, on every platform, I try to have at least one shoot 'em up. Shoot 'em ups are probably my favorite genre, top 3 for sure. Check that one out. This one was getting pricier back before this. That one was, I think, like, I remember when it was like $25 or like $20. Then I looked up and it was like 35. Then I looked up again, it was like 45. So I don't know where that one's at now. Chili Con Carnage has come down. This one was actually more expensive and then it just got cheaper. I don't know. Next up, we have Street Fighter Alpha 3. This one is still sealed. This is part of like that whole Capcom fighting series, I think, or just Capcom. Like, there's a series of Capcom games on the PSP where they all have like this white cover and like the game is like in the middle in the circle. Same thing with the Mega Man games, as well as Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Street Fighter Alpha 3 is a game that I played a lot in the arcade. I actually had this rather on the Game Boy Advance. This game is actually surprisingly good on the Game Boy Advance. Like, it's sick how good it is. Never opened it for the PSP just because, I mean, it's Street Fighter Alpha 3. There's nothing really super complex about this game, but this is just a solid, well-balanced fighting game. So if you like fighting games, Street Fighter Alpha 3 is the game for you. I kept my copy sealed, but I'm very familiar with the game. Played it a ton on a few different platforms. Here we have an interesting one. So Ken Kabancho Badass Rumble. This is actually a really cool beat 'em up. Like, Atlas did it right with this one. So this is like a 3D beat 'em up style game. If you like games like the Yakuza series, like that whole 3D beat 'em up series, you will like this one. This one's a little bit more funny, and it has some of those same like GTA elements. Like, you get to talk to people. Just you learn different moves, different characteristics, different things like that. So this one is a good one. Ken Kabancho, definitely recommend you checking that one out. That's a unique one on the PSP. I don't know if they have that on any other system. You have the Power Stone collection, which is Power Stone 1 and 2. If you've ever played either of these games on the Dreamcast, these are some amazing like group fighting games. They play a little bit like Smash Bros. Well, Power Stone 2 plays a little bit like Smash Bros. Power Stone 1, I think, was still one-on-one, but you're like playing on moving levels. The environment changes. You're falling from the sky at different points. So definitely a cool one there. Gurumin, A Monstrous Adventure. This is a very cute action adventure game where your main weapon is this drill, and you have to drill through different parts of the levels to unlock different items. The main character, I think her parents were archaeologists, but the town has been taken over by ghosts or monsters or something like that, and you're kind of just fighting your way through. So this is a very, very cool one. The drill that you have unlocks different powers and has different powers associated with it. Gurumin is a very fun one. Again, I think that's also exclusive to the PSP, so that's one that you're going to want to check out as well. And then last but not least, the Metal Slug Anthology that just has a bunch of different Mega Man X games. As you can see, look at me, Mega Man X, sorry, Metal Slug. It's still early. I think I need my coffee. Metal Slug, Metal Slug 2, Metal Slug X, that's the one I played the most. Metal Slug X, Metal Slug 3, 4, 5, 6, all of that jam-packed in this amazing anthology disc. This has come out for a number of systems, including the Wii. I've seen this come out. I think there's a PS2 version of this, but again, sometimes I just like to have my Metal Slug handheld. This is a great way to experience it. And last but not least, the last one is not a game, but it is my favorite, one of my favorite Kung Fu movies, Kung Fu Hustle, an amazing UMD. And I think I mentioned in other videos that I'm thinking about starting a UMD collection. So that does it for the PSP collection. Some really cool games, some unique and exclusive titles here, just games that you don't typically see, and I think some games that are exclusive to the PSP. If I was wrong on anything, or if I missed anything, or misquoted, or misrepresented, or if some of my facts are off, you guys know what to do. Let me know down in the comments. Just wanted to drop this video for all those wanting to know more about my PSP collection. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will be back this afternoon with my more formal, put together, edited video for the Y2K crew. Hope you enjoy the Sunday. Hopefully you get out and enjoy some of this weather. It's actually gotten better. I'm going to be running out with the fam to run some errands, and hopefully I'll be able to pop in a few local game stores. So we'll see what we're able to find. I am on a hunt for some lower end NES games. So if I am able to find some of those, I'll let you all know. It's the Y2K Collector. Happy Sunday. Take it easy.